Mission Control, this is Bobby Blastoff requesting permission to blast off. Too late. Blast off initiated. Holy cannoli, as we talked about in yesterday's video, Bitcoin absolutely came up exactly to our price target yesterday and actually went even a little bit above that. But now the question on everyone's mind is Bitcoin going to pull back from here, or does Bitcoin have more steam to begin blasting off even more? And as well, Ethereum actually set another new all-time high today, and we inch even closer to our true breakout target. But the question is, when will Ethereum reach it? And when it does, how high will Ethereum go? And this chart looks like it's ready to make an absolute mess. Wash off those sticky fingers and let's dive in. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Preston Pepperjack, and there is some major announcements, major price targets we're going to be looking at in today's webisode, as Bitcoin, for the first time in history, has now broken a $1 trillion market cap, and in fact, much more than that has happened, and we're going to be covering all of that in today's webisode. Specifically, we're going to be talking about different price targets because our price target for Bitcoin was hit to a T, and in fact, there's much more beautiful stuff to come. So guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, make sure to subscribe, and as well, if you absolutely love pumping and Pepperjack, make sure to turn on those post notifications so you get updated when we post these absolutely critical, time-breaking, time-sensitive updates. And without any further skidoo, let's jump on into the data. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, must have had too much milk. So guys, if we start here on this daily chart for Bitcoin, everything is just going exactly according to plan, and truly it's a beautiful sight to behold, as Bitcoin exactly hit our price target from yesterday's video. What we're seeing is here a breakout, and then we're getting that follow-through retest, backtest, which we see time and time again, usually a very, very good sign. So if Bitcoin, does cement that as the low, roughly about $50,800 US, it is likely that we could head up to our target all the way up here, roughly about $55,000 US. Actually, after that retest that we got on this smaller time frame chart, it completely broke out and perfectly hit our target. But the question now is, since we hit that target, what is next? Because for the last 4 or 5 videos, we've been talking about this very specific price target that we have on some of these charts. But guys, now that this price target has been hit, what is most likely to come next for Bitcoin? Are we going to get some sideways consolidation? Are we going to pull back a little bit? Or are we going to enter more of, again, a period of sideways consolidation like we just got out of just a few days ago, even though we were setting basically new all-time highs and higher highs consistently? Even though it was a pretty sideways pattern, it was very, very prolonged, kind of boring, and again, even though it was new all-time highs, it was kind of just teetering up. It was just a little bit each day up until the last 3 days, which the last 3 days have been much more explosive. So what can we expect for Bitcoin now? And as well with Ethereum, and as well, what can we expect for Ethereum over the next few days, and some of these top altcoins as well? Because again, some of these altcoins are really gearing up, and the biggest news by far is just that Bitcoin has now achieved a $1 trillion market cap, guys. So before we go any further, let's talk about how significant this is. Guys, it only took Bitcoin roughly 12 years to become a $1 trillion asset. So how does that compare to some of these other big boys, right? We have gold, we have Apple, we have Microsoft, Amazon. So for example, it took Amazon 27 years to reach a $1 trillion market cap. 27 years. Meanwhile, Microsoft, founded in 1957, it took 45 years for them to reach a $1 trillion market cap. And then for Google, it took about 22 years. So Bitcoin has beaten all 3 of those companies to the $1 trillion market cap level quicker than all 3 of them. However, again, that's for a very, very big reason. And if you think that the limit is a $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin, then you would be sorely mistaken, because fundamentally what Bitcoin is and what it can do will make a $1 trillion market cap, in my opinion, look very, very small in the future, right? This is just the beginning. Looking into the future, it's very likely that Bitcoin is not only going to be, a $1 trillion market cap asset, it's most likely going to be, tens of trillions of dollars. And will it overtake gold? I believe that is exactly what's next for Bitcoin's price. So guys, if we dive into these charts here, you can see that after we had that retest of this rising wedge, we came back, perfectly retested, as we talked about in yesterday's video where we played that clip, and perfectly got a bounce up to this next level. On this chart, it basically hit almost exactly the level, and as we've been saying for the last few days, $55,000 to $56,000 was our big target range. And as of right now, our all-time high is about $55,650, so exactly in the middle of that price prediction, right in between 55 and 56,000 US dollars. And if we go to this chart, you can see this ascending triangle that broke out did in fact hit our price target exactly. It was about 55 and actually went a little bit above that. Like we said, it went all the way up on this chart to about 55.6. And as well, if we switch to this 6-hour chart, it illustrates it very nicely here in the very immediate short term. Again, with our target being roughly exactly about 55,000 US dollars, 54,800 US dollars here. This breakout is progressing very, very nicely, very similar to Ethereum's, which we saw over the last 2 months. So we so far have topped out slightly underneath 56,000 US dollars. And if we go to this next chart, one of the reasons I believe that is the case is because this is a big Fibonacci level in the short term. It's right about the 786 fib extension here, right about 56,300-ish. Okay, you can see we basically have already hit this target. And ultimately, what I'm looking for just in the very short term to remain bullish is just holding in this key fib level range, which is anywhere above 49,000. Obviously, 50,000 is going to come in very handy if we would have any sort of dip in the short term. As you can see, over the past few weeks, it's basically only been upside for Bitcoin. Just massive green candle after massive green candle only, and some just sideways consolidation. There has not been a significant dump in Bitcoin's price really since January of 2021. So the entire month of February for Bitcoin has just only been pumpage. Only been straight pumpage, and even on days where we were trading sideways, like we mentioned, even on days where we were trading sideways, we were still setting new all-time highs, sometimes even multiple times throughout those days, even when it was a little boring, right? It wasn't like massive new all-time highs, but technically a lot of these were just all-time highs, even as it was trading sideways. And now this is a critical time for Bitcoin, not only because of just Bitcoin's price and fundamentals, but also because of this. The DXY is currently right now retesting the top of this falling wedge. And as we mentioned, if you go to the weekly chart, you can just get a very nice sense of how bearish the DXY is, especially for people that want to have a bullish case for the DXY. The bullish case is that it breaks above the 21 week, which it did many, many times in the past, 2017 and 2018, but we haven't seen that one single time in 2020 or 2021. We have only gotten rejected at the 21 week. We have only gotten weekly closes below the 21 week for the DXY, which was not the case back here in 2017 and 2018. We had many closes above the 21 week, and ultimately a very big bounce very nicely above the 21 week, which we ended up turning into support. And that allowed the DXY, for the most part, to be very, very strong until the crash in March of 2020. So up until then, the DXY was relatively healthy, and it was definitely recovering. And so obviously the weekly chart is the best illustration of how bearish it is. But if we go to this daily chart, just to kind of zoom in and see what exactly is happening now, this is more critical. Yet again, it's trying so hard to hold this 50-day moving average. We're below the 21-day moving average. But it's just not looking good for the DXY. And guys, this is huge because if we do break here, we actually fall below the 50-day moving average and plummet back into this falling wedge here. I think that we're going to have a pretty significant drop. And what does that mean? It most likely means Bitcoin is going to continue pumping if this gets a massive drop. And this just comes at a very critical time, I believe, for Bitcoin as well. Because if Bitcoin is able to just maintain anywhere above 50K, and the DXY starts collapsing, then we could be even in store for some more pumping for Bitcoin. And so that's what we're going to be watching for. Ideally, though, what I want to see now and what I think is the most likely scenario, kind of discounting that, is that now that Bitcoin has hit the next clear target, right? The clear target was that 55,000 US dollar level, which we've hit now. Okay, so much confirmation this has happened. So in my opinion, the next thing I think makes sense is for Bitcoin to maybe even just trade sideways and just definitively claim 50,000 US dollars as its current new level. Because keep in mind, we've only been above $50,000 for a few days now, not a very long time. We want to see Bitcoin maybe retest some lower levels. But as we've been saying as well on this daily chart, Bitcoin has only been bouncing on this very top moving average of the EMA ribbon. It has not gone below the very, very first, it has not had a daily close below the very first EMA ribbon moving average the entire month of February. So if we break below 50,200, roughly basically exactly 50,000, then we're going to initiate a correction. But guys, as you know, we're already $5,000 above that as I'm recording this. So we can't really tell too much about what Bitcoin's going to do unless it would actually attempt to retest the very, very first level that would have to retest, which is 50K exactly, basically. And as well, Bitcoin dominance is clearly also, it seems to be on a downtrend. We've broken both the 21 and 50 week moving averages for the Bitcoin dominance. But even with that being said, Bitcoin is still setting new all-time highs, which is absolutely remarkable. And with that being said, some of these altcoins are still doing extremely well. If we go to just the entire altcoin market cap, you can see very much still an uptrend. And again, I think this is something that's just going to continue to play out here. Again, I personally think that the second half of this month, which we're a few days into now, is going to be largely a very good alt pumpage month, but at the very latest then March. Because again, Bitcoin has really taken the front seat this month of February. We're 2/3 over with February, and it's primarily been the month of Bitcoin. Okay, let's actually just see. We started off Bitcoin's price at $33,000 at the beginning of February, right around 33,000, and we're very close to being double that. We're at 55,000. So massive gains in just the last 20 days. About 65% gains, over $20,000 gains in just the last 3 weeks. But in terms of some of these longer term charts, it's very hard to kind of determine where Bitcoin might actually slow down. We've already hit our target, so that's one thing that's saying to me, okay, maybe we'll see a little bit of a pullback now. But on the other hand, we could run all the way up to about 59 or even 60,000 US dollars, right? It's my next target here on this very short-term time frame fib level. And if we just go to the very long-term fib level, 60,000 is the next big level. So on this 1 hour chart, 60,000 or 59,000, let's just say the range 59 to 60,000 is the next big fib level to watch for resistance on the very short term. And on the very long term, on this weekly chart, that's exactly also where it is, right about 60,000. So again, 59,000 on the very short term and about 60,000 on this long term chart. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin maybe did come up and actually go a little bit higher. I personally think that it would make sense though if Bitcoin ran out of steam for a few days or just consolidated sideways here at this point. But also, we do have to keep in mind that Bitcoin technically could run a little bit higher, even in the very, very short term, to try and hit our next big macro target of about 60,000 US dollars. And just as importantly, Ethereum is inching ever so close to the very top of this rising wedge, which I think will initiate Ethereum's true breakout. And it'll be right around 2,000 US dollars. So when Ethereum reaches 2,000 US dollars per Ether, and when it finally shatters 2K, which I think it could take a few days when it reaches 2K, before that does happen, I think that we're going to see a nice shot up to at least $2,500 per Ether. And guys, that could happen this month. We already have to take a look at this on the daily chart. Ethereum is up just for today, or just over the last like 48 hours. It was up about $43, which doesn't seem like too much. Ethereum has been a little bit slower. There are some rumors that, F2 Pool was one of the mining pools keeping Ethereum down, and there's some other rumors of just other reasons why Ethereum might be kept down, but it is blatantly obvious that Ethereum has been underperforming in price recently, and it's funny saying that because just a year ago Ethereum was $90 and now it's basically $2,000. So again, still massive price appreciation. But yeah, realistically, guys, I think Ethereum should be much higher than it currently is. And I agree with a lot of people in the comments. Like, why isn't Ethereum pumping as much as we think? Again, could it be people just manipulating Ethereum's price, which obviously is not even questionable? It's already been proven in terms of miners, F2 Pool and everything. But realistically, I think everything's going to line up right around that 2K mark. In terms of not only the technicals, but I think fundamentally Ethereum's going to gain more traction with retail and institutions around that 2K price point per Ether. And yeah, I think Ethereum is going to be breaking past 2K this month. And the most important factor here is just the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. We could still be pulling back for a little bit here, but ultimately I do think we are going to get a blast off. So again, even though I think this is going to take longer to play out than a lot of these other charts that we look at, the Ethereum Bitcoin pairing, in my opinion, just shows very, very much why Ethereum is going to be breaking out against Bitcoin here in the short term. Again, I cannot give an exact date. Nobody knows when exactly it'll happen, but if I'd have to guess on a time frame, I think ideally it would be within the next 2 months at the very longest. But I do think that it is going to be coming. But Bitcoin has just been so strong lately that it's very hard for some of these coins to actually be breaking out against Bitcoin. Wow, so if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. Make sure to leave your comment below to enter for a hardware wallet equivalent in BTC or access to T4. And as well, if you're interested in trading, make sure to use our bonuses below, up to an additional $600 for trading on Femex, limited time, and some other nice bonuses on Bybit as well. But never trade more than you're willing to lose, and only do it if you have experience and you want to support the channel. And that's it for now. Bye-bye!